Hello everyone, welcome to CSE Core Concepts in the series of computer networks. In this video, we are going to discuss about a very important concept called as multiplexing. Now, what is multiplexing? Let us first understand that. So basically it is channel or a bandwidth sharing. So multiple sources and one link. Okay, so there are many inputs and a single output. Let us see for example. So let us consider. So this is called as MUX and the device is called as MUX and the opposite of MUX is DMUX. So here you can see that there are multiple lines. Okay, you can see 1 2 6, these are all your inputs. Let's say input n. Okay, and this is a common channel. So in this one link there are n number of network going, and on the opposite receiver's end there will be demux, which will again split into multiple channel as it was earlier. So it is an alternative approach to direct point-to-point connection. See, what happens is that if you want to get connected to 10 computers using a point-to-point connection, so you can imagine that you have to take 10 different types of connections, 10 point-to-point separate connections. Understood? So in this case, what you can do is that instead of connecting to 10 different connections, you can have a common channel, and the mux will carry each one of them in single bandwidth, and again on the other hand it will split it. So you require, for a point to point connection, you require an IO port for each device, a line for each device, and large amount of wiring is needed if you are going for a point to point connection. So instead of that, if you are using a multiplexer approach, then all devices will be connected to one single mux and one line of host. The link carries multiple channels of information and several lines equal to this number of lines out. So multiplexing is in computer networks is done by the device which is called as, the device is known as MUX. It is going to take n inputs and it generates a single output line. So on the other hand, let's say here you have n inputs and a single output line. And on the other hand, there is DMUX. DMUX takes single input, but it generates n output lines. Okay. So this is how it looks like. Now multiplexing, there are various types of multiplexing, that when you are putting different types of signals into one channel, okay, so you have different types of multiplexing here. So the types of multiplexing are frequency division, wavelength division, time division. Time division has again two parts, that is synchronous and asynchronous. So what is frequency division multiplexing? It is divided, the frequency spectrum is divided among the logical channel, and each user has exclusive access to this channel. So basically what happens, it sends signal in several distinct frequencies. So every input has a different frequency range, and it carries multiple video channels on a single cable. So each channel is modulated, that is modulation means either changed or control on different carrier frequency, and they are separated by guard bands. So this is called as frequency division multiplexing, where analog signaling is used to transmit. So basically we are using the analog signals in case of frequency division multiplexing. And because they are using the frequency division analog signals, so it is more susceptible to noise. So non-overlapping frequency range to each user on a signal or medium. So all signals are transmitted at the same time, but each of them has a different frequency. So you can see here like a radio spectrum. We have discussed about it earlier also. So there is only one common channel band, but every radio station has their separate frequency band. Okay, so this is divided among the logical channels, so how many you want, and user can hang on to a particular frequency, means at a time you can switch on only one FM station, and if you want to change the FM station, you will have to go to the tune to the next frequency. So you have different inputs, each station is an input, everybody is giving, right? So each radio station has their own office, so from their office they are broadcasting, so that is n number of inputs are there. but the channel or the carrier frequency is only single, right? So all the frequencies are muxed, okay, and in the muxed they are given all together. Now on the demuxed side, this is what this, so all of them are modulated, all these frequencies are modulated, each of them are carrier, they are combined in one channel, and there is only one output line. Okay, now this in one output line will be fed into the demux, which will again produce again split this frequency into different. So the advantage of this frequency division multiplexing is that, first of all, this is a very simple process and very easy to perform modulation. So you require a multiplexer or a demultiplexer, and it will do the work of separating the line and combining the line. So for frequency division multiplexing is used to order to transmit the signal. So basically it is used for the analog signals. And the disadvantages of this method is that it cannot utilize the full capacity of the cable. The cable can have a huge range, but you have to transmit only in particular frequency bands. So you are underutilizing. It is important that the frequency bands do not overlap. That you have to take care, because all are analog signals. So if you do not have a good distance between two frequency bands, chances are that they can get overlapped. So there should be a good amount of gap between the frequency bands, so that one signal does not affect the other signal. Other type of multiplexing is the time division multiplexing, where each user gets the entire bandwidth. I will get the entire cable, but only for a small amount of time. Okay, so it is very extensively used in computer communication and the telecommunication line. Okay, so sharing of the channel is applied by dividing the transmission time among users. So you find out how many users you have, okay, those who wish to use the channel, and you divide the time into that many equal slots. Okay, so this method uses the digital signals instead of the analog signal, and dividing into frequency bands. So time division multiplexing splits cable into time slots. So the data rate exceeds the data rate of the signals. Now, let us say we have one frame, one slot, and one slice of time. That is how they are transmitted. So let us see how they are divided. Okay, let's say there are two types of time division multiplexing. One is synchronous and another is the statistical approach. So what is synchronous? So what happens here is that all the multiplexer and the demultiplexer basically will have to agree on the time slot. The multiplexer is accepting the input from the devices, but this time the inputs are given to the multiplexer based on a round robin fashion. So what is a round robin fashion? That is, every device will get one chance. Now it may so it will go in a circular way, that every device is given a small burst of time. It can transmit during that burst of time, and during that burst of time the cable belongs to that device only, nobody else is transmitting. After that time slot is over, next device is given the time. So if the device, and in this case, if suppose the device has nothing to transmit, let's say somebody's turn has come, that we are giving you the channel, you want to transmit, and it does not have any data, but still it must insert a piece of fake data or a dummy data, and the chance it will get. So let us consider here, I have 5 devices, A, B, C, this is my device C, let's say, and D and E, right? We have a multiplexer. So it is first the A's chance, okay, to send, let's say, for example. Now this is 0 and 1 is, let's say, the indication of a start and the stop bit. So this is your first frame which has started, and this is your second frame, right? So in the first frame, A1 will get a first chance, first time A1 has done. B1 has some data. Yes, B1 has some data. Now B1 has that data, it has also gone. Now the C's line is, you can say, it is straight. So C has no data, so it is nothing, but a slot will get wasted. Understood? So it will not work. Then you have its chance for D1. So D1 got a chance. E1 has no data. There is no data called E1. E2 is there. So for E1, nothing is there. The frame has ended 1. Now go to the next frame. Okay. Now next frame A2 is not there, blank. B2 is there, yes. C2, C is anyway blank. D2, E2. Now what is the problem here? You can see that you are wasting so much of space. Okay, it is in a round robin fashion. Everybody is getting a chance. That is very good, but it is getting wasted. Understood? So in that case, this approach is not very, it is underutilizing the channel bandwidth. So let us go for another approach, that is called as the statistical time division multiplexing. This is on demand rather than fixed. That means if a channel or if a device wants to send some data, then it can ask for the channel. Otherwise, no need. So you are not doing a fixed scheduling here. So it is a dynamic approach. Understood? So it allows the connection of more nodes in the circuit than the capacity. It will allow more nodes. Here you cannot allow more nodes other than the capacity, because even if the node does not have to transmit, you have to give a slot, right? Here you can have more nodes as compared to the capacity, because as a assumption that all nodes may not be transmitting at the same time. Okay. The transmission will be for a full capacity for a particular device at a time, and it must transmit a terminal identification, that is destination ID may require some storage, because you have to tell that who are you and whom you want to send. So it will transmit the data only from the active workstation. So active workstation means those devices who want to send the data. Otherwise we are not giving, no, if it is not active, we are not wasting any space. So it accepts the incoming data and creates a frame containing the data to be transmitted. So let us see here. You have A, fine. Then you have B1. B1 is demanding, let's say this is the frame, somebody has demanded, we are sending it. B1 is demanding C. See, there is no wastage of space for C. Understood? So you have to send it transmits a terminal identification number along with it. So this is what you have to do. A1. So terminal identification number is, let's say, small a. Then say B wants to send. So B ka terminal identification is B. Then this requires some extra space. That is the only thing here. So C, no wastage is there. So D has sent. Similarly, here we are not allocating for A2 because there is nothing A2. Directly start from B2, D2 and E2. And the third type of division is the wavelength division multiplexing, which is transmitting multiple data signals over a single optical fiber. So if you are using some other guided media like cables, then you go for frequency division multiplexing. If you are using the optical fibers, then you should go for a wavelength division multiplexing. About the optical fibers and guided media and all, I have discussed them in detail in my video about the physical layer. So you can please go through them and you can understand the different types of media. So you have a unique, every optical fiber, because they are working on the principle of light. So they all have a unique wavelength, or you can say the color. So at the transmitting end, a multiplexer combines the signals on the fiber. So this is your transmitters and these are your receivers, right? So the transmitters, they are all sending in a different band. You can see the colors are changing. So that means all of them have a different band, and the multiplexer is combining mixing the signal, and on the other hand the demultiplexer is again separating them. Understood? So that dramatically increases the fiber's capacity and reduces the need for multiple cables, obviously, because all of them can be sent at one. So it is used in high capacity. Anyway, we have studied that optical fibers are very high speed and they have very high capacity. So this type of approach is particularly useful in data centers, long distance communication, internet, etc. So the reliability is very high and the capacity is also very, very high. So I hope you understood about the different types of multiplexing techniques. So please do press the like button, and please do share and subscribe to the channel for more such informative videos. Thank you.